Okay, on Sunday, the Euro 2020 qualifying draw takes place, and there are a number of initiatives that the FAI and the Dublin City Council are also getting involved in, including a Street Legends community football event happening on the Saturday with Nuno, Gomes and Vitor Baia, Portugal legends, and then also on Sunday, an exhibition, national football exhibition opens at Dublin Castle as well on the Sunday, so it's plenty going on, and Gaizka Mendieta, Spain legend, is here as well. Welcome.
Thank you.
Before we get to football, actually, I wanted to chat to you a bit about music, actually, because you've obviously got a bit of involvement there, and I was looking through the bands you're into, and I would actually agree 100% with a lot of them.
Okay.
So, the Stooges.
Yeah.
Massive fan.
Massive fan.
Yeah.
Iggy Pop, of course.
Yeah, and Velvet Underground would be.
Yeah, of course. Velvet, The Doors. My background is 60s, 70s American bands mostly.
Yeah, good stuff.
Led Zeppelin. Well, that's British, but Led Zeppelin, The Who.
Yeah.
Probably all the bands that everything actually comes from, isn't it?
Yeah.
At least the way I understand them.
Were you always listening to those even back in the day when you were playing, or was it more just after you stopped that you kind of?
No, it was. Actually, I was more into heavy metal before, like when I was teenage and stuff like that. Still some of Metallica, Motorhead, Judas Priest, all that sort of thing. And then obviously I started to go more into more rock than heavy. And that's what the bands I listened since I was 16, 15, 16. Yeah.
Have you had a chance to meet any of those people?
I have actually. I met Lou Reed. He played in Valencia in a summer festival, and I was lucky to meet him after one of the shows. I watched him twice, one in Barcelona, which I tried to get to meet him, but the guy left very quickly. And then we left the venue, and apparently he was in the restaurant, but he told everyone that he left. Because I have a friend that is the president of the Reed supporters in Spain, so we had access to him through him. I got to meet him in Valencia actually after that concert. It was really good.
Yeah. Speaking of Valencia, of course, I would have watched you playing in the Champions League, obviously, at a pretty good era for Valencia. The 90s were quite interesting because you were there from about 93, I think, up to like 01, and the success happened around like from 99 to 2001. So Hector Cooper comes in. Now, obviously, Ranieri had done a lot of work before that, but was it a kind of sudden thing with Cooper coming in, or was it actually something that you felt was developing for a long time before you reached those Champions League finals?
Yeah, it doesn't happen overnight, especially for a team or a club like Valencia. Indeed, it started with Luis Aragonés, which then became the Spanish national coach. That's when he actually, me, Piojo, the young sort of players, Farinos, started to play more regularly. And then Ranieri and then Cooper. So it was a whole process during those probably 3-4 seasons, where actually we saw the success of reaching the two finals and winning the leagues, the Europa League and the Cups, etc. So yeah, it's people might only obviously know Valencia since then because the Champions League, which that's the way it is when you play this sort of these tournaments, when actually you get yourself and the club to be seen in the world, but the club was working for many years before that.
The 2001 final was a kind of final of penalties, so your penalty at the beginning and then Effenberg and then the shootout, so it was just unfortunate from that point of view. Your penalty technique, which also from watching the time you scored the one against Ireland, which sadly knocked us out that 2002 World Cup, you didn't hit them hard. It was almost like a cushioned effort. Was that something you always worked on?
Well, yeah, because the way I took them, I would wait until the goalkeeper move. Goalkeepers, in order to try to save it, you have to move before you kick it. Guess where the ball is gonna go. So I would wait until they move. So I didn't need to kick it very strong, unless they would stay until very, very end, and then I would have to make my mind to choose one side. Then I would got more pace. Other than that, no, because the goalkeeper was I didn't have to. Because the goalkeeper would have been already down on one side or the other.
Yeah, Shay Given did go down obviously to one side. It just missed his leg. Was there a moment of worry in that 02 World Cup last 16 game where you thought, Jesus, his foot's actually going to hit it?
Actually, a bit concerned about that one. Yeah, because I saw it. I didn't mean to go so central. I was meant to be going because the way he went down, it wasn't like he pushed himself to one side. He actually nearly left himself down. So his legs, his foot was almost in the center. And yeah, the way the ball went, I could see what's going on, but it was not the way I in my mind I wanted to take it. I wanted to take it more on my right side. So it was a bit worrying. Yeah.
Yeah, that World Cup was unfortunate as well. Does it still rankle a bit, because the South Korea game, and actually the Italians found the same thing the game before, the refereeing, I'm going to try and find the right word to put it, but it was a little bit...
What you see, which actually it was proven that's the way it went.
Yeah.
Of course, yes, we felt robbed. We felt... I remember watching Italian game against them and thinking, wow, this... And we knew we were going to play Korea in the next game, and we were like... There was something weird. There was something you couldn't say back in the day, because, in football, seen a lot of things, but there was something not right. And then us, it was exactly the same. Some decisions, they were like, there's no way. I mean, you have to give always the respect and the credit to the referees, but there was some actions that there was so many. No, you can take it. It was. But again, you couldn't say publicly the words, because you couldn't prove it, but it's been proven. So sadly, because we felt we had a really good team, we felt we could go all the way through for the quality we had, and unfortunately, we was stopped by not in a sporting manner.
Yeah. It was the start of I suppose a new generation. So Xavi was just coming in, Casillas had come in as well. Xavi in particular, just as a midfielder, and sitting beside him, was his potential as, like, I think they call him Mackie in Barcelona, just the style of play he has. But was it always clear that this fella was going to go on and become one of the world's greats?
I mean, yes. I say yes a bit reluctant, because you can't say this guy's going to become the best midfielder in the world, but he was definitely want to be one of the best midfielders in the world. Yeah. Like him, like Iniesta, both when I went to Barca, they were there as well, and yes, you could tell the talent was there. How far they could go, it was hard to say. Yeah. If whoever said, "I told you would go that way," is lying, because it's very hard to pinpoint someone actually that what he's gonna do. But like I said, it was gonna be massive quality midfielder, and probably it's even excess those expectations in the way. He's not only Spain, but also with Barca, and the way he's managed to do his career for so many years, win so many things, and play in the way he did. And it's hard to. We want to struggle to find another Xavi, another Iniesta. That combination, Busquets, I'd say even. Yeah. I would like to bring in him. But it's been a generation that is going to be really hard to replace. Yeah.
Euro 2000, I did actually want to bring up one game, the Yugoslavia game, because you scored a penalty in it, and it's probably one of the greatest games ever played at a major tournament. Euro 2000 probably is the greatest major tournament of them all. Can you remember the last few minutes of that game, just in terms of, does it still, like, do you still feel the nerves from that last moment, because you needed to win? Yeah,
of course. It was really intense the way we came back, the goals, the tension, every ball in the box was like really intense. So yeah, thinking about it, it's still like, raised the habit in the way that game was played. It was unbelievable, because they had such a great team. Again, for us, another tournament that we thought we could have won it, but we didn't. We had this sort of curse in the quarterfinals that we never went through. But always had good players. We always had a really good team since even before my era.
And obviously you did come to the Premier League with Middlesbrough, and you seemed to settle in very well over there. Was that a very quick transition process to get used to the area, maybe even the accents?
The accent not so much, but the football, it was really quick. I think mainly because the team we had and the football we played, which was the main thing that it brought me there. It was the project that McLaren presented to me when we first talked, and that's where I think it settled so quick. Also because not so much now, it's changed a little bit. In those days, it was more like open football, attacking football. So for an offensive midfielder, it was great to find spaces, to find a pass and opportunities in every match. So I really enjoy it since the first match I played.
Yeah, and obviously Steve McLaren at the time was a young manager. Gareth Southgate, who was your teammate at the time, another young manager. Yeah. We've just seen him go to a World Cup and do well, actually get to a semi-final for the first time for England since 1990. Obviously, it didn't really end very well between you at the time, but were you maybe surprised at how he developed, especially the man management side, which I think is the thing he's being praised for now?
Well, yes, because that was his first job, and I think obviously you still have a lot to learn, or you always have a lot to learn, but as you start, he made mistakes like we all do, and he's improved a lot. We can see, I think if you ask me what was his best sort of characteristic, that would be the one to man management. He wasn't someone that he would make the team to play like the greatest football, but it was the way he even that year he struggled a little bit with that, in the way he fell out with some players because he felt himself being trapped between the club and the players, and rather come honest to the players, he tried to defend the club. But that's how you live and learn, and I think he did that. And now I think that's his main characteristic, in the way you can tell the players respect him and like him.
Have you met him since your time at Middlesbrough?
Yeah, a few times. Yeah.
I suppose a final question actually was just interesting, because obviously you're Basque, you grew up in the Basque region, and you've played for the Basque national team, I think, as well, haven't you? Yeah. Just as a national team, would you be interested in maybe seeing them one day become FIFA affiliated, or do you think that's just a pipe dream?
I would love to. I would love to see that, but I don't think it's actual. I don't think it's a reality thing that actually will happen, and I think everyone knows that it's hard to see these nationals or regional national teams being away in that sort of way. First, because political is not going to happen, and then therefore it's impossible to see become a real thing. But as a football player, obviously that would be the ideal, to be representing your region, your city, your in playing a big tournament. That's but again, it's an illusion.
Yeah, but in the kind of professional sense, Athletic Bilbao of course are kind of like a representative of, I suppose, they're kind of the de facto Basque national team in a way. You never got the chance to play for them. Did it ever come close to happening? And would you have loved maybe to have had that opportunity?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how many times there might have been conversation between clubs, which I wasn't aware of. But there was one time when actually someone approached me from the club, and I was then in Italy, and I was really keen to head off, come to Bilbao after that season. But me and the club got an agreement, but between clubs they didn't really finalize the details, so I didn't end up going. Of course, I would have loved to play for them. Big fan, supporter since I was a kid, and not only that, but also the way the philosophy the club represents, and being able to still nowadays carry on with this historical philosophy of only Basque players, I think is quite unique and something to be proud of. And well, unfortunately, in my career, I didn't get the chance, but I would have loved to.
And finally, on Spain as well, I mean, Luis Enrique is only in the early stages of what he's trying to change philosophically with the current Spanish team. Are you optimistic about the future with the team that's there in terms of young players? There's Asensio, for example. There's a few others as well, but there does seem to be something missing, and I wonder what you think that might be.
Well, I think for what we've seen since Luis Enrique took over, he's trying to find his team, his players more than his team. The players to fit in a team, in an idea that he knows what he wants Spain to play. I'm optimistic, of course, because you look at the talent, the players we have. There's so many talented players we have. Like probably always we had. Luis Enrique, a great coach that he knows perfectly the players. Being coached different teams in La Liga and being ambitious in the way, and I think also modern in the way he approaches football. So you have to be positive. After the 2 World Cups not doing the greatest, we have to be optimistic because all those things.
Yeah, well, we'll see what happens in the draw anyway. Yeah, Gaizka Mendieta, thanks a million for taking the time.
Thank you.
Cheers.